Hello and welcome back to Inside Quotes, the show where my brother and I rewatch, review, and relive the staples of our childhood. This is episode 98, starting year 5, and I'm your host Jeremy, and with me today is my older brother Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome back to the show for the 5th year in the row.
5th year, quack quack, everybody. Thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in, and may all your daughters be born with 3 bottoms. It's a quote, but you didn't hear it. You had to read that quote in this movie. We'll get to it. But we wanted to kick off the year. It's my turn with one of the staples of our childhood, one of our personal favorites.
Oh, absolutely.
And when we say staple, I mean it's a staple.
I mean, when I say staple, when you say staple, I mean it is a staple of our childhood. Super funny staple, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. Usually our first couple episodes of the year, we usually pick a really funny one. And this is probably going to take the cake for funniest movie.
It'll be up there.
We'll have to see.
But we are talking about Johnny English from 2003, starring Rowan Atkinson.
Yes. Otherwise known as Mr. Bean.
Also known as Mr. Bean.
That's the only thing he's known as, I think. Or if you've seen Rat Race, that's a good movie with him in it.
He's also a voice in The Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zazu. Plays
that bird.
That bird.
I was trying to go for like a Brian Fellows.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie came out in 2003. Jonathan, where were you at in 2003?
2003. I was 5th grade-ish, around there, 5th grade.
All right.
At FCA. This was a critical time for me to see this movie because only the year before I had a new student in my class at FCA from England itself.
Oh.
So I had the inside scoop on British humor. And me and my friend Monty talked about this movie a lot. This was like one of our favorite movies. We loved Johnny English. And I would say this was probably my introduction to Rowan Atkinson. I think the progression for me, I had seen Lion King, but I didn't know the voices or anything like that.
Sure.
But like true Rowan Atkinson in live action, the progression I think was Johnny English, Rat Race, and then Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Which is like his most famous thing. But I think that's kind of the order that I kind of discovered him and saw his stuff. But Rowan Atkinson, one of the best like comedic actors of all time. Like his physical comedy is unmatched.
He became a national treasure for the UK.
National treasure?
He became a national treasure for being Mr. Bean, a guy who is funny, but he doesn't even say a word.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in the wrong generation. He should have been Buster Keaton or something, silent film. I wouldn't say that this film is super stacked cast-wise.
No.
It's mainly him, who's already been Mr. Bean, so he was famous already.
Yeah, he had done the show, he'd done the first movie, pretty much kind of semi-retired the character.
Yeah.
I guess he had done Rat Race. I mean, he did a lot of stuff, like British comedy and stuff, but yeah. It's mainly just him. The only other bigger name actor is John Malkovich.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a good actor?
Yeah.
Okay. He's one of those people that you don't know. Like, I don't know, I know he's been nominated for stuff and people like him, but then like you also see him in roles like this. And I'm not saying he was like a bad actor or anything. I just like, he's like a Christopher Walken type, like, I don't know. He has like a certain character type that he plays.
We might have to consult a expert on this matter.
I don't know. He's just one of those that I don't know if is he considered a good actor? We'll leave it up to you,
Well,
the audience. It doesn't matter, though.
You just said earlier before we started recording that you haven't seen him in any other movie besides this. And I would like to prove you wrong, because I believe you've seen the 2006 fantasy film, Aragon.
Is he in that?
He's in that movie.
Man.
He plays like a bad guy or like a wizard or something. I think he is the bad guy.
I vaguely remember that. I think I've seen that approximately 1.5 times. I saw it in theaters, and then a couple years ago, me and you tried to rewatch it, and the DVD was scratched that we gave up halfway through.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What a shame. Yeah, no, he was the lead villain.
Okay.
He was bald and had a goatee, so it didn't really look like him. He's also in The Great Buck Howard, which we watched.
Oh, yeah.
You liked that movie.
That was it's a good one-time watch.
Sure.
Like, it was good. I just haven't rewatched that one, but that one was fun.
And then one other movie that we both have seen, Penguins of Madagascar. He played Dave.
Okay.
Have you seen Penguins of Madagascar?
Mm-mm. Madagascar is like Ice Age for me, that I've only seen the original. I've never seen any...
No.
I've never seen any sequels or spin-off material.
They're so good.
Are they?
Yeah.
All I know is by the time the third one came out, I was in college, and the
I like 'em
the
big.
Afro Circus
I like 'em chunky.
zebra thing was like a meme.
Yeah. That got annoying.
That was annoying.
I would say that. Yep. Okay. He was also in Secretariat. I guess. Some
Okay.
random dude. I don't remember him in that. But he also voiced someone.
I'm sure
Oh,
he did.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy he was in. He played Hama Kavula.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Feature film-wise,
Yes.
he's been in some stuff that we've seen.
Yeah.
This is probably his biggest role of, like, the movies we've seen, though.
Yeah.
Except for, there's one thing I do want to draw to your attention, Jeremy.
Okay.
Big inside quote material.
Sure.
For me, you, our family.
Sure.
May I remind you of one of the greatest Saturday Night Live sketches of all time, when John Malkovich hosted in 2008, and that is the calculator sketch.
Top 10 sketch for our family, I'd say.
I would say probably one of the most forgettable sketches.
I need freak out control. I got a calculator. Hey, Mom, thanks for the Nintendo Wii. A calculator?
So bad, but we thought it was hilarious. I watched it. I showed it to you. We showed it to Mom and Dad because me and you kept quoting it, and they we have to see this video. And it's just one of those things that was so stupid that we just kept quoting. And it's Fred Armisen and John Malkovich are like these like twin brothers that get up on Christmas morning. And they're so excited about they asked for a calculator for Christmas. And Andy Samberg is their other older brother, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for the Wii, Mom," and all this stuff.
It's like the number one item because that was the year that
and
came out.
And they just keep going on and on about it. And if I can find a link to it, I'll put it in the show notes. But they were just they're playing it up oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? And who are you kidding, Mom? We didn't ask for anything else.
I've got to watch this right now. Taking a break.
Glenn, guess what we're getting for Christmas?
Yeah, a calculator.
We're getting a calculator.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any idea how fast we're gonna do math problems?
Square roots?
Lightning speed.
We are getting a state-of-the-art calculator by Texas Instruments.
Guys, we don't know what you're getting. Nobody promised you anything, okay?
But Dad, come on, who are you kidding? We didn't even ask for anything else.
All I know is when I saw him in that sketch, I was like, Pascal Sauvage, Johnny English.
Johnny English. Pascal Sauvage, while we are here, this is probably the first movie that I had a experience to a French accent. Probably. I do.
I thought he was French.
I was 5, 6
Till I
years
saw the
old when this
calculator
movie came
sketch.
out, so I never saw it in theaters for sure. But did Larry have our oldest brother own this movie?
Yeah.
So we just watched it then.
Yeah, we have him to thank.
Yeah,
For sure. Our oldest brother Larry had this on DVD, and that's how we watched it for the first time. He just had some gems in his DVD collection, like Crocodile Dundee 3.
Yeah. Random. He's got to be a teen in the early aughts.
Yeah.
So, fair warning, we do suggest this movie for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We think this movie is so funny. It's such a gem. It's a 1 on the binary scale. Although, trigger warning, if you don't like butts and you cannot lie, don't watch this movie because it has a scene where a butt is shown and it is very funny.
But it's critical to the plot.
Actually, it kind of is, yeah. Here is our resident expert, Kyle Forsyth, to see what he thinks. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, sorry I missed your call. What's up, man?
Hey, so we just need you to know, we're recording our podcast right now, and we need you to tell us if you think that John Malkovich is a good actor or not.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I mean, are we talking John Malkovich in Places in the Heart, or John Malkovich in Rounders? Or John Malkovich in Being John Malkovich, in which he might not even be acting because the whole point of the movie is just to be himself, even though John Cusack is being John Malkovich for part of the time.
So
and also Cameron Diaz and Catherine Keener are also John Malkovich in that movie.
So does that tell something about him as an actor, that other people play him, or is that just him being lazy?
Well, the question is, perhaps this is the best litmus test, because the concept of the movie is they find a portal that takes you inside the head of John Malkovich for 15 minutes at a time. So if John Malkovich is a good actor, then you would be able to tell that other people are being John Malkovich. But if he's just being himself, then that's not convincingly portraying the fact that other people are inside his head for 15-minute increments. I personally think John Malkovich is a pretty good actor most of the time. I think he gets the job done.
Okay.
Like movie a little more campy, like In the Line of Fire, where he plays like the creepy shooter guy. Like he's the bad guy. It's kind of campy, but he does a good job with it.
Okay.
And then there's other movies like Rounders, where he's playing like a KGB guy, and he just has this ridiculous Russian accent, and it's like he's not even trying, or he's trying too hard. It just seems like he's just goofing off, like he doesn't even care. So I feel like he rises to the occasion when he wants to, and then other times he's just going to do whatever he wants if he's bored.
Okay. Do you think he rose to the occasion in a role for, let's say, I don't know, Johnny English from 2003?
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen that movie in a very long time, but if I had to guess off the top of my head, I would say probably not.
Bro, it's his best role.
He probably did whatever he felt like doing when he was on the set of that movie.
That is his best role by far. And I haven't seen any of those movies that you've seen. We are just a children's movie, family-friendly movie podcast experts.
Yeah. Well, I completely went on a tangent that would not be conducive to your format at all.
No, we really love that, though, because you have the insight that we don't have. Because the 3 movies we've seen him in are Aragon, Penguins of Madagascar, and Johnny English. So,
who is he in Madagascar? Is he one of the penguins?
No, he plays Davy. It's just a random extra character. Yeah, but
okay.
We figured.
What do you think? Do you think John Malkovich is a good actor based on those 3 movies?
Next question.
Next question. Like, I don't have any more John Malkovich questions.
Do you need anything else from us, Kyle?
No. Do you need anything from me? Is this all?
You called
of
us
off the podcast. I called you because you called me.
What are you talking about, Kyle? You called me and you said, "Hey, I want to talk about John Malkovich, specifically in Johnny English, because that movie's good." That's what you said.
This sounds like I am having someone be in my head for 15 minutes due to a portal they found at their workplace that is on the 17.5 floor of an office building. And you don't understand what I just said because you've not seen the film Being John Malkovich. Because
Oh. All right. Well, that's enough.
I don't know how much of this you can actually use, but
All right. Well, that's enough. We're having a good time.
okay. I love you guys.
Love you. See
Thanks
ya.
for calling.
Well, there you have it. John Malkovich is a good actor when he wants to be.
Bro, Kyle we did not give him any warning on that. He just, right off the dome, ripped it. I love it.
We'll just call him random.
I love a podcast where they just call random people and just to see if they pick up or hang up. And I think Kyle is the perfect consultant for these type of movies and acting things. So, yeah. Moving on. We've talked a lot about John Malkovich.
What were we talking about
Before John Malkovich?
before he called back? Because we'd already moved on from John Malkovich.
I don't know. I think the best part about John Malkovich is that the best part about Kyle being the consultant for that is that he's given us the insight on John Malkovich, yet he hasn't seen John Malkovich in this role. So that's quite unfortunate for Kyle. Kyle, we need you to. Kyle was almost asleep when we called, and he just started rambling about John Malkovich. So he can do that while he's half asleep.
There you go.
So yeah. Who are some other standout people? We've got Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean. That guy as the prime minister, so he's all dapper and dressed up.
I didn't recognize him. You pointed him out.
Yeah, I was like, that's Gibbs. I didn't know his name, but I said, that's Gibbs, but without saying the name. I said, that's Gibbs, but in parentheses, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. The Caribbean. So that was really weird with him not being so piratey.
Yeah.
So
He's guarding the treasure, though. The crown jewels.
not very well.
Not very well. Neither was Johnny.
Okay, Jonathan, I need you to give me a ranking of this movie based on. Give me your. Does this fit on your top 10 British movies, like British culture movies, like set in England?
Well, it would have to be. I mean, I started to go down the route of like, well, do you include Harry Potter in that? But like, no.
That's a
this is
Wizarding
like
World.
British humor.
This is like real world England.
I mean, probably. It's got to be in the top 10.
Sure.
I haven't really compiled that list, though.
I think we need to do that eventually.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to the list Agent Cody Banks 2.
Okay. Another British spy movie.
Ooh, Alex Rider.
Alex Rider.
Just like modern day, and by modern day, just like early 2000s.
But are you talking about like, okay, modern day?
The early 2000s
British
was
comedies?
a time for British comedies or just British sequels. Or American sequels set in England.
Garfield, Tale of Two Kitties.
Great answer. I think that's some of Bill Murray's finest. Oh, that's another great one to talk to Kyle about, because I guarantee you he's never seen that movie. All right, so this movie is one of 3, but it was kind of more of a standalone movie in itself, and it was just like, we can make money off this again, probably. And then they rebooted it. Well, they just made 2 sequels, very distant.
Yeah.
Like, there's a good 10 years in between each movie, I would say, right?
Close to that, yeah. I think the second one, Johnny English Reborn, was in 2011. And then Strikes Again was like 2018. The second one was notable because it didn't have Boff in it, who's a
Oh.
great character.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him more. But that was one of the things that I liked about the third one was they brought him back. So, but I remember the second one came out so far away from the first one that I never thought this was a movie I was going to get. Johnny English 2.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited about it. Like that was genuinely like a trailer I saw get shared with me online, and I was like, "Wow, I can't wait to see this movie." And it was fine.
It was only 8 years apart.
Yeah.
You waited that long for Johnny English 3.
Yeah.
That's amazing how, I guess if you don't have anything. See, so 2011 to 2018 seems like a very long time. But it seems like such a short time compared to 2003 to 2011. But their only difference is a year. Isn't it weird how when you get older, time just slips through your fingers?
Is that an ABBA reference?
Yeah. Slipping through my fingers all the time. This movie has probably one of my top 3. I can't say my favorite, but probably my top 3. Okay, I'm definitely going to try and just say my favorite, because what's the worst that can happen?
Say it.
This is my favorite ABBA song.
What is?
Does Your Mother Know? And upon reading the lyrics, I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say that one is my favorite one, because it's a little weird lyrics. But 'tis a bop.
Tis.
So Benny Anderson is the keyboardist for ABBA, and he bought this. This is his first time purchasing a synthesizer in the 1970s, something 92 or 72 or something. And anyways, this is the first thing, first like riff or whatever you can call it, that he played on that synthesizer. So he was like, that's pretty good. Let's just turn it into a song. It became a top 10 hit in over 9 countries.
It's crazy. And now they're going to be holograms.
It's so good. Are they? What do you mean by that?
So there's this whole thing with ABBA that they're like creating hologram versions of themselves to like perform concerts after they're gone so that they can just keep the music alive forever. That's like a thing.
Oh, really?
For all the ABBA fans out there.
Are they going to be young?
I don't know.
First of all, this is not the movie I'm going to when I think of ABBA, but it's fun that
But
I
it
think
kind
of
of
ABBA.
is, though.
It kind of
is, though, because I've been listening to it all week because of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not like we watched Mamma Mia or Mamma Mia 2, Here We Go Again this week.
Right. Of course. And that's not even like, it's the music from ABBA, but it's not them. It's like Colin Firth and
British
people. Meryl Streep singing those songs. That's interesting that ABBA Voyage is what it's called. Talk about this original song, Jonathan.
Okay. A Man for All Seasons.
A Man for All Seasons.
Performed by Robbie Williams. Looked him up.
Robin Williams?
No, Robbie Williams. Never heard of him. Wasn't even familiar with any of his other work.
He sounded familiar. You think he's a part of a band or something?
Maybe some British pop band. Not one I know of. I was too busy listening to ABBA this week. But it's a great song. Would be a contender for a best original song, I would think, for the year. But I was a little discouraged because when I looked at the song, the soundtrack, for some reason, okay, I don't know why, Hans Zimmer is credited on this song as like working on the music, and I don't understand why.
Okay.
He didn't do the score for this movie. He had no involvement. He didn't even make a cameo in the movie. He's just credited with like the music of that song, and Robbie Williams is credited for writing the song.
Hans Zimmer takes credit for crap he doesn't do.
I think so.
He always just signs off and then gets the main credit so that other composers can get their shot at a movie. But he just overcrowds them, and I'm not a fan of Hans Zimmer. I'm telling you what.
I'm telling you.
What a dummy.
I feel like, I mean, like, he probably didn't even, like, is that the kind of thing he's going to fight to, like, have his name on, you know? Like,
No.
Johnny English.
It might just have to be a legal thing. I don't know what kind of operation he's running over there.
I mean, unless I'm hating on him for no reason and he, like, made this great song. But I kind of doubt it. Maybe that's just a joke. Maybe the guy that put stuff into IMDb made a mistake this week. I don't know.
He's probably just like, I don't know. Hans Zimmer probably did it.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you want to know what this movie introduced me to?
England.
Part 1. Spies. Rowan Atkinson. Check. I had never seen, and not that I've even eaten at one today, but a sushi train. Or,
oh, you're right.
as more experienced, chefs would call it, sushi.
Sushi.
Oh, sushi.
Oh, sushi.
But I remember thinking that was, like, so cool. Like, oh, there's these places you can go, and the food's just on this, like, conveyor belt, and you just grab it and eat it.
Pretty legit. Food just comes to you.
Yeah.
I actually have been to a sushi train before. A sushi train. And it is now closed because there was one here in Bowling Green called Osaka Sushi Train. But once the old COVID hit, of course that closed down because people don't need to be sharing the same proximity to foods as it's just like a mobile buffet where you don't move. Honestly, Golden Corral should take notes.
Golden Corral, if you're listening, don't take notes. Just close.
Can we have a GoFundMe to where we can close all Golden Corrals, and in place of all those Golden Corrals, that's got to be a buffet because that's how they're set up. We replace them with sweet tomatoes.
Oh, man. Yes. Yes, please. Do it.
That's all I ask. I just want to eat sweet tomatoes one more time before I die. One more time. It's not too much to ask. You can open up a business for that. Honestly, if I ever am on death row and they ask me what I want for my last meal, I'm going to say, give me a salad bar at Sweet Tomatoes. Because they'll never have it again. And then I'll live.
And you'll just, yeah,
It's
there
like
you go.
asking for a tiger steak.
Hey, there you go.
Is that a Johnny Cash song or something?
I don't know. I mean, but if you feel that strongly about it, like, maybe you just need to open up your own. Like, you probably can't call it Sweet Tomatoes, but
I would.
in homage,
Sugar Maters.
the Sugar Maters. Please tell me you just came up with that.
I just did. Oh, man.
Sugar Maters. So, we're kicking off the year with this movie, but I think this is an interesting one to start with because as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking about, yes, there are some good quotes and there's some good lines, but that's not really where the comedy is in this movie.
Where would you say it is?
It's in England.
Yeah.
No, the comedy is in the physical comedy of Rowan Atkinson, right?
Yes.
The awkward situations that he's in and how he responds to it. But there's not as many quotes in this.
Sure.
There are some good quotes. But, like, some of the highlights that I wrote down was, I mean, when you're a kid, the poop humor, right?
Oh, classic.
Going up the pipe to Pascal's chateau in France.
Yeah.
That was a hilarious.
I need to know, that's what I thought all toilets were in England.
Just a big...
Like a trough where people all socialize and sit next to each other.
In prison. But that's... Okay, so I'm confused. Was that a prison or was that his house? Or both?
Because it's a prison. I don't know. I honestly didn't understand until this first watch through here that he was trying to turn England into a prison. I just thought he was trying to be the king of president of the United States, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, folks.
I had forgotten about that when we rewatched it, but...
Bro wanted to seize all the land and turn it into one united world prison. Now, let's talk about this. Is that such a bad idea?
I mean,
It's government
it is for
funded.
people. It is for people that currently live in England.
Yeah, but all you got to do is do a crime, and then you're fine to stay there.
It's like you do a crime and then like, okay, you can just stay in your house. That's fine.
What can I do to stay? Burn my neighbor's house? All right. They don't want to stay anyways. So yeah, that's an interesting concept. Pretty good concept for a villain, actually.
I don't know. I was reading of that was kind of like a similar plot to a movie called Escape from New York, which is a John Carpenter movie.
I've seen that movie.
Have you seen it?
I have. I actually watched it with Kyle one time.
Is that the premise of it? Like New York gets turned into a prison
Pretty
or something
much.
like
It
that?
gets-
The entire state or something
Yeah.
or city?
Yeah. It's pretty intense. It's a pretty good movie, actually. Kurt Russell.
I was way overthinking like Pascal Savage's whole plan.
Yeah.
I was looking for like the logic of it, and then I was reminded this is just like a dumb comedy,
Yeah,
you know,
you can't
so you
give
can't
it
really
too
put too
much.
much into it. But there's this whole plan of obviously he wants to become king, and he wants to turn England, the entire UK, into a prison. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go with that. Fine. In order to do that, he's got to become king, and he makes up this plan. He's got a plan A, and then he's got a plan B, and I don't understand plan A whatsoever. I don't know why he didn't do plan B the entire time.
Yeah.
Plan A was steal the crown jewels, get a fake Archbishop of Canterbury to declare him king,
Yeah.
because he was distantly related to the Queen and the royal family, but he was kind of a
Yes.
splintered off of that family tree.
Yes.
But that doesn't make him king. That just all that means is like he stole the jewels, and this guy said he was the king, but he's not. Because it's not the real guy. It's just a lie. It's a
they
farce.
were riding on the fact that they were going to kidnap/kill the Archbishop Canterbury, whatever his name is, and then he was going to spend the rest of his life pretending to be him.
Is that spelled out in the movie?
That's what I took from it.
What about the actual queen herself?
Bro, she didn't even know where the jewels are.
Okay, so afterwards, after like John English finds out that like, oh, there's something funny going on, they say, oh, he's seen too much. Like let's get rid of that. So they nix that entire idea, and instead they just blackmail the queen to just give up the throne.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then he just becomes the legit king.
They can't do that.
Well, they threatened to kill her corgis.
Someone would have done that a long time ago.
Why didn't he just do that to begin with if that's all it took?
I don't know.
Like, it's not like he was trying to do it like the right way. Like he was just going way out of his way to do it, to lie about it and make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was he going to do? Reclaim his throne?
They also didn't
With
say...
her still there?
Yeah. Well, so after she abdicates the throne, then she disappears. I don't know what they do with her, but
yeah.
But they didn't really have any kind of plan for the queen in the first place. Maybe they did, we just didn't see it. I don't know. That was me overthinking this. It didn't really make sense. It's probably because I've been watching too much of The Crown recently, and so I was like, I don't even know. He said he's distantly related to the queen, but I don't know how this works. I didn't hear about this in the episodes I watched.
Yeah.
They didn't even say. They were talking about how his family was. They were talking about how his family. What he was supposed to become the king, or his family was supposed to be the royal line, but then he said like they got cast aside, and that's all he says about it. He didn't really say why they were cast aside.
Sure.
So I didn't really understand that.
I think it's just like they got cast aside because they weren't direct descendants.
I guess so. Yeah.
He just has somewhat of a connection to the throne. He probably just jumped in line by like 30 to 60 different spots.
Also,
I've looked this type of thing up, the hierarchy of the British throne. It's so complicated.
it is.
Back when Queen Elizabeth died, 2021 to 2022 in September. Rip, you know what I'm saying? And then King Charles took over.
Her son.
And I was like, how does this work? Why is like Prince Harry so like far away from the throne? Well, basically, Prince Harry has to wait for Philip. What's his name?
Philip was
I know, he's the old guy.
William and Harry are Charles's sons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So William will probably be our king.
Yeah,
not
William.
our king. Probably be the king of
Not
England
my king.
in the
Hashtag
next
not my
couple
president.
years or so, honestly. And so, but then after that, you'd think like, oh, so Harry would be next in line for the throne. But no, he has to wait for all of his children to go through. So Harry has no shot at the throne.
Yeah, there's like these
That's why he
people-
left and went to America, honestly.
other siblings and stuff like that. Like they can be their siblings and they can still be like ninth in line to the throne or something.
That is
like
so
that.
sad. Because, like,
Yeah.
the great aunt of, I don't know, maybe like Charles's sister, thinking about that, she's now like, what, 22nd in line now? I don't even know if he has a sister. But, like, the older people, it's so confusing, and it's kind of not fair for the underdogs of the family, you know?
Well, that was the other thing, and of course they don't get into it in the movie, but like they don't address, like they don't address like Charles.
Yeah.
Like, why would Pascal become king? Like, why wouldn't just Charles be king?
Well, because she
Or
signed
when-
it over.
If she
from
abdicates, does that mean the whole family is not
Yes.
in line anymore?
I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know, but I'm going to confidently say yes.
I agree.
So.
Well,
So yeah. But here's another thing. If you somehow manage to get the English Empire, British Empire handed to you, it's going to be tempting not to just be king. I guess he's a billionaire, so he doesn't like need that much power.
yeah.
But he just wants to turn it into a prison? I don't think so.
Is it just like, why does he even want to build the prison? Is it just because he's French and he doesn't like English people?
He doesn't like the fifth.
Is this like Timeline all over again? He's
to
a
be
direct
fair,
descendant of Jack Harlow and the French.
To be fair, I would say that the British Empire turned Australia into a prison. It's just a bigger island. So it would make more sense if he was Australian and not French. But French people are just snobs. Anyways, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Mr. Bean is now King of England, according to this canon.
Apparently. No. They bring her back, but he gets knighted at the end of the movie, I guess. Sir Johnny English.
I'd have taken it. I would have been like, sorry, I'm not that good of a spy, but I'll be the King of England. You can put that on your resume. King of England for 10 minutes.
So this is a spy movie. And I was going to say the car chase scene is actually a pretty good car chase scene in this movie.
Yeah, it
With
is.
like on the arm, like
the swing,
the
like
tow truck,
yeah.
and it's like, it's on this arm and it like swings out over the other lane.
Yeah, and he still uses all the spy gadgets and stuff, but he's not driving the car itself. That's really funny.
I was like, this is actually a pretty cool like stunt.
Yeah.
But I liked that scene.
Let's compare this movie to other movies, especially in the 2000s. I fully believe it has the same structure, not plot, but same structure as the Pink Panther. And a little bit of mostly Get Smart.
Yeah, Get Smart.
It's British Get Smart, but with a French and British Pink Panther little sprinkle.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The cocky, clumsy inspector or spy, and they're just more confident than they're supposed to be because they're not good. And it's just it's the perfect formula for a comedy movie because we have just thought that movie was so funny. and the Pink Panther movie was
All
so
of
funny.
those.
I mean, that one funny staple this past year. I'm sure when we cover Get Smart, that might also be a contender. At least a nominee.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Jonathan, if you were to cast yourself in one of these characters of this film, who would you choose? Like, let's say one of the actors is gonna get sick. In what case is the studio calling you and saying, "Hey, we need you to fill in for this guy or girl"?
One of the actors in the movie, one of the characters.
Yeah. Who would you feel most comfortable playing?
Oh, Boff.
Boff.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the Alex Horn of this movie.
You do give off Alex Horn energy. You're less of a pushover.
Or I would go for the criminal that Johnny English describes, that he completely makes up, that they call back at the end credit scene. And just the crazy guy with the orange hair and the scars and the shape of a banana by the pool. That I forgot about that callback at the end, and that got me good in the credits. Yeah, I'd have to go for Boff. Who would you pick?
Probably the Queen.
The Queen.
I don't know. Who do you think I would be?
Who would you?
There's not that many characters, so it's just like
it's.
I don't want to be the guy that says I'll be the main character.
Well, you could be I was gonna say Pegasus, but Pascal Sauvage, because you got the long hair.
Pascal Sauvage.
You would do that.
I don't know if I have pure villain energy. I don't know if I can do that. I might could. I don't want to say Johnny English just because he's such a good character and he's so funny and stuff, and he's like the main character. But
it's tough. There's not really that many characters in this movie.
But if
it's just a lot of side characters. That
if
he
you're gonna
interacts
be
with.
Boff, I'll be Johnny English.
Okay.
Come off it, Boff. It's only a bit of poo. I feel like
Pull
that's
yourself together. It's only a bit of poo.
I feel like that's our best quote.
They like to say bottom a lot in this movie. I guess just because it's a kids movie. I don't know.
And it's
But
a
it's
British
like-
way of saying buttocks.
But he's just like, what? And wait for some fat bottom Bobby to take credit for us?
They had to really reach for that PG rating so that they can say bottom instead of other words that mean bottom but are more PG-13-esque.
Yeah. I think they definitely pushed this one. They pushed the PG rating on this one.
Absolutely.
A few places.
The amount that you can show a human butt in a PG film blows my mind, actually.
The entire movie. 90 minutes. That's the legal limit of butt in a PG movie.
90 minutes?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, I was like, that's a lot of minutes for butt screen time.
It's a bottom.
Bottom. Does Boff get the Chicken Joe award? I feel like he just humors him. I don't think he's
no, he's not
a wholesome friend.
He doesn't have
necessarily.
that. Yeah, he's there for him. He humors him. I think he looks up to him a little bit, but he also knows.
I think he
he's
looks
kinda
up to him,
full
but
of
he
it.
also babysits him because he asks
Yeah.
him the wrong, like all the questions that he knows the answers of. He's
But
like, "Are you coming over here anytime soon?"
yeah,
Like obviously he
That was a
knows
good joke.
he hit the wrong.
it's like, are you coming over
Billing.
here in a minute?
That's such a funny scene. I love that.
But Chicken Joe, I feel like he is someone that like can provide some sort of like encouragement or like wisdom that's unexpected. You know what I mean? I don't think Boff ever does that.
Right.
So, here's a question. As soon as like even before Savage gets crowned king, is trying to get crowned at the end.
Sure.
There's a whole montage of them printing money and stamps with his image on it. And I want to know how quickly, like when you become the president or something like that, do they start printing money? I don't have an answer to that. But
Yeah, how come we don't do that? We've just had the same 4 guys on our currency for years and years and years.
yeah, like how come when we get a new president, we don't get like a new dollar bill or something like that?
We do when they die.
They've
I do
been doing
collect-
those, the president coins.
Yes, I've
dollars.
been collecting those actually recently.
I guess stamps are a little bit easier, but like the money,
Bro,
they
when
just
was the
start
last time you
printing.
looked at a real stamp in America?
Um,
I've had the same slip of stamps
same.
for probably 7 years. And our father was a mailman, retired. You know.
Yeah.
Is King Charles right now on the British pound?
I don't know.
He is. They do switch it. Interesting. I assume that this is a dumb question, but the old version of Queen Elizabeth, that money's still valid, right? Because that would stink. Do they have to exchange it, or is that just like a collector now, like a wheat penny?
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Probably don't have to exchange it, but that would be interesting.
You ever think
they
that
made him did?
King Charles III kind of looks a little bit like George W. Bush?
Maybe he looks like Gonzo.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's because his wife is Camilla.
Oh, is that why you said that, or is that just luck? Okay, that's good. That's good. It just took me a while. Okay, well, the only thing we have to go off of is when King George died in 1948. When did Queen Elizabeth become queen? She was there for 72 years, right?
Yeah, I think it was early 50s, but
Okay.
around that time.
Well, it says it will take years, about 10 to 15 years even. It did before, but old notes and coins will stay legal tender for many, many years. An example of this is the 1948 issued King George banknotes, still legal tender in 1962, 10 years after his death.
Eventually, do they take it out of circulation, though, I guess?
I suppose so. Maybe out of respect. Maybe they have people transfer it. Like, go into the money exchanges. That's weird, though. This is just like a question on Quora that just people are asking about this subject, and one of them says, now that the Queen has died, what's the point in changing the money notes to Charles? Because if he dies, we'll just have to change it again. Well, that'll be a collector's item, at least. I'm trying to go get some King Charles coinage. Anyways, this is actually kind of interesting to dive into. Why don't we do that as America? I feel like that'd be really cool. We've got plenty. I don't understand that maybe for counterfeits and stuff, adding more variety to bills. At least the dollar bill. Make the dollar bill the standard, the ones that changes,
Mm-hmm. Or like bring back the $2 bill or something weird like that, and then just keep replacing it.
No, because that's too weird. I feel like the respectable thing would be to take Lincoln off the $5 bill because he still has the penny, and then move George Washington to 5, and then whoever the current president gets the dollar bill.
Mm-hmm.
Although, $2 bill would be nice because you don't have to put that many into effect. And it would just be like, oh, I collected the $2 bill. Why is it a $2 bill? Because nobody uses them.
If you could add a new denomination of bill to our U.S. currency,
Oh my goodness.
a new number, what number would you pick?
10 galleons. Dude, I don't know. I feel like there's a good one answer to this, but I don't know what it is. Not a $50 bill. I would
That
say
already exists.
I would probably say a $30 bill.
A 30?
A $30 bill could be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Or a $15 bill.
I was thinking like 15,
Yeah.
or maybe
'Cause
just
two
to be
15s
weird,
would be
like
a
a
30.
$12,
A $12.50.
like because I feel like I routinely cash app you somewhere between $12 and $15 for like meals and stuff.
That's
like
inflation, baby.
That. So something like that, It's like, oh, if I just had a $12 bill on me, I could pay you back,
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting question we've got. We're talking money here. So that's interesting. I think if John Malkovich ever runs for president, that will have to be the case where we turn the money into him.
You know, the other thing I know about him, going back to John Malkovich, because this is the John Malkovich show today. I think it was him, and I'm not going to fact check this whatsoever. Even when I'm editing, if this is true or not, you look it up for yourself.
Okay.
He made a movie, and it's been put in like a time capsule, and no one is going to see this movie for like 100 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. Something like that. I remember reading about that. I feel like that's where I've always thought, like, okay, this is like kind of an eccentric kind of guy.
I love that about him, though. Let's say he's bizarre.
Yeah. I think it's him. I'm not going to check it. I'm just going to spout that out like it's knowledge.
What if it's just the calculator sketch?
It'd be worth it. Then I got to
the
sneak
calculator
peek.
sketch 2.
Then I would just be, oh man.
It better be National Treasure 3.
If that was going to be released, I would do everything in my power to live to be 150 years old.
I mean, I would just force him to show it to me before.
Oh, that's an option. I could just blackmail the queen.
Yeah. Become the King of England and then make him do it.
I don't even know how that works. It's like they film something, they put the reels in a time capsule, and then it's just buried.
Oh my goodness. It's called The Movie You Will Never See. It is due to be released November 18th. I don't even know how to say this year. 2115.
Wow.
That's hard to say. 2115?
2115.
Bro, they're going to sound so dumb saying that.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'm glad we're in this era for sure.
Yeah.
You think you'll ever live to 2100?
To 2100? Probably not.
I have a better chance than you, I'd say.
Yeah.
103? I'd have to be 102, 103 to make it to that point.
Yeah, probably.
I would be
not.
102 making that point. That's probably doable. I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, though. That's so interesting. This guy is so cool for this, and I'm upset that I can't watch it.
You'll never see it.
That makes me upset, actually. I can't watch this movie.
See, you didn't even know about it, and now you're upset that you can't see it.
Like, yeah, who is he? He gets to see it? Who is he to keep it from us? What a gatekeeper.
You know what?
Screw this guy.
John Malkovich, too, can play at that game. We're going to make the podcast you will never listen to.
Yeah.
We will do a whole episode talking about that movie that we won't see, and we're going to bury it, and he'll never hear it.
We should so do that.
Make an episode, pre-record an episode for that to come out in 100 years.
That would be really cool.
Right.
Then we'll finally get famous.
We'll get
and
famous.
we'll get a Manscaped partnership.
Posthumously. Gotta have goals. Put a reminder in your phone for that.
I keep on wanting to put this on my watch list. Is that on Letterboxd? I'm going to put this on Letterboxd and put it on my watch list.
Oh, man.
Why couldn't he have made this movie like 50 years ago?
I don't even know when. Did it say when he made it?
2015, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because it says 2115 is when it's...
But I thought I heard about it before that.
Well, if it says 100 years, the movie you'll never see, and if it comes out in 2115... I just love the fact that it's scheduled for November 18th, 2115.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's John Malkovich's birthday. He's not that narcissistic. No, he's December 9th. That's so annoying. I want to watch this movie. It's kind of depressing that there's a movie on my watch list that I know I'll never see in my
You'll
life.
never get to see.
He'll probably give it up. It'll probably just be like the Disney Vault and be like, okay, I'm going to release this before y'all.
That really stinks for like John Malkovich fans that like, oh, I've seen all his movies. No, you haven't.
Can we request, John, if you're listening to this, can we please request a movie trailer at least in 50 years?
Teaser?
Give us in 2055
Or a poster
give us,
or something?
In 2035, give us a teaser and give us a theatrical release trailer in 2055.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time this movie comes out, movie theaters will not exist.
And neither will we.
And neither will we. That's a whole nother podcast, though.
Well, Jeremy, should we just wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm upset.
While you're adding that movie to your Letterboxd, go ahead and give us a score for Johnny English on Letterboxd. How do you rate this?
First of all, it's probably best to state that this movie has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I need everyone to take that into account before they judge me on my rating of this movie. And given that, my rating is a 4.5 out of 5.
4.5?
Yes, sir.
That's solid.
This movie invokes, bro. It invokes something inside me. It's such a good movie. It's so bad, but it's so good. Okay, I'll do a 4 out of 5. Since you judged me.
That's what I'm giving it.
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 just because I'm mad at John Malkovich right now. I would like to give that man a nice calculator. That would be really funny.
Well, him and Fred, they got to share it. Fred Armisen.
I'll give him half of a calculator.
Yeah, I give it 4 out of 5 too, because it's such a staple of our childhood. A lot of laughs.
Yeah,
We can pick apart the plot.
It's
but,
fairly rewatchable too.
Mhm.
I think that's cool. That's a big factor for our letterbox scores.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no National Treasure, and I don't even think it's a Pink Panther really. It could be.
No, I think that's what I gave Pink Panther.
It's
though.
exactly
I
a
think I
Pink
gave
Panther.
4 out of 5.
I think my issue is I have too many 4 out of 5 movies. I'm too that is my lane. I give everything a 4 out of 5 pretty much.
See, I'm like that with 3.5s.
Yeah.
And I got too many of those. So if I bump it up against that, it's a little bit better than the average movie I cover
Yeah.
or review. Was there any appetizing foods in this movie, Jeremy?
The sushi.
The sea urchin? People are a little turned off that it feeds through its bottom, though.
The sushi. Really, that's what I think of when I think of sushi train.
It's Johnny English.
Yeah, Johnny English.
Yeah, me too.
Going to sushi train is pretty cool. I hope you get a chance to experience that once.
I know when I heard that there was one up here that there used to be. Like, I don't even like sushi that much, but I would have gone just for Johnny English.
It's an experience. Makes you feel fancy. It was like $12 on Saturdays for lunch, like all you can eat on the basic plate, I think.
Yeah.
It's a great deal.
Now, on a separate note, can you give a ranking 1 out of 5 on the Archbishop's butt?
I wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
Some of the scenes in the movie, though, that I put down as my highlights was climbing up the sewer pipe, the fake fight scene behind the door where he's got the chair and he's like pushing himself up against the wall and he's trying to make it look like he's fighting like that guy behind.
Yeah, that was really cool.
With the crown jewels.
I can't not say that I've done that before, pretending to be.
Yeah, you
like
pick
that's
up
a
chair
classic move.
And it's like you got to do it. Yeah.
Oh, it was more like the
The
throat
strangling,
grabbing with
yeah.
yourself, you know. That's a classic.
Describing the suspect of like the assailant who stole the jewels that he pretended was there.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
Climbing the pooper.
Crashing that funeral.
Yeah. Flibbid.
I love that whole sequence with when he lands on the wrong building and he's like going through the hospital. Shout out to the DVD player in this movie.
What do you mean?
I always thought this was cool, and I even looked it up before recording. So there's a scene in like
the
Pascal's,
wall.
the triangle, like 4-disc
Looks like
DVD
an art piece.
player.
Yeah.
And it's like on a stand. It's like a vertical DVD player. And I looked it up. It was hard to find, but it's like some kind of like like some fancy store in the mall, like a Sharper Image or something like that.
Yes.
It's like that sort of brand. The Nakamichi Soundspace 12. It's like some I think it's actually more like a CD player, but they like made it seem like a DVD player.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure. but it's like a home system. Like, and I just always thought that was cool.
Can you find it on eBay?
I don't know. I was having a hard time even describing it. Like vertical DVD, triangle DVD player. I had a hard time. And then I just started searching for other people, like trying to figure out what the DVD player was from Johnny English. And I did find like a Reddit about it.
That is a rare find. But it's for the set though, you know. So
yeah, gotta get that. Play our soundtracks on
it. $200
on
plus
eBay.
$50 shipping. I found it.
Oh man.
It's white. I don't know if it's the same. No, it's metal.
I'll find it at the thrift store. Oh, well.
That'll be cool.
Oh, and I wrote down the tagline for this movie, which I thought was okay. It was called "Prepare for British Intelligence." It's not that like good, but it's not like
it's not bad.
Embarrassing. It's just there.
Although I don't really like it when a tagline tells me to prepare for something.
Prepare?
Like, let me live my life. Come on.
Well, you got any final notes? Any takeaways?
Final takeaways from this movie. If you have not seen this movie and you're in for a laugh, give it a shot. I think it's great. I think there's so many gems that are under 50% on Rotten Tomatoes that people just scoff at. And this is an underdog for sure. It's not even Rowan Atkinson's best film, and he's the top billed cast member. So that a lot of it's going to get swept under the rug a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Watch
this movie. I think it's a great one. Very good visual gags. Very physical, very clever, and honestly not that bad of a plot. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's not that bad. It's entertaining. Mm-hmm. It's an entertaining concept.
Yeah, like you said, final thoughts. It's a great movie. Definitely going to be a contender for our funniest staple for this year. I'm a sucker for any of these like spy comedy movies. I don't know. I feel like that's like such a serious genre, and I've always gravitated more towards the comedic side of the spies. And
I don't think I've ever enjoyed a serious spy movie.
I mean,
that much.
Well,
it's all too cliche. Like you might as well make fun of the cliches and enjoy yourself, you know?
Alex Rider is serious spy work. Okay.
Solid point.
But overall, it's definitely worth a watch. And if you're a Rowan Atkinson fan and haven't seen it, definitely watch it.
It's his second best character. Although this got more movies than Bean did.
Number one is Man versus Bee character.
All right, we're done here.
All right, we're done. Well, Jeremy, next week it's going to be your turn.
Ooh, yeah, it is my turn.
Do you have a hint for next week? Are we going to do a hint? Are we going to play a clip?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do, but here's a clip, and we'll all guess together.
Pongo pygmaeus. You've got an orangutan problem, Mr. Grant. Hypothetical situation. It's Easter. You think it might be cute to put a baby orangutan in your kid's basket. Well, at first it is cute. Then it gets bigger. The kids lose interest. And then one night, you flush it down the toilet.
Well, everyone, another day, another staple. Our only question left is, if you've seen this movie, what's your favorite quote from this movie? What's your favorite inside quote from this movie? Let us know on Instagram at InsideQuotesCast.
And if you haven't followed us over on Instagram, go ahead and do that, and let us know if there are any movies you want us to cover on the show.
Our show art was done by Bryce Bridgman, and you can find him on Instagram at GroovyBridge.
And our music was done by Alex Bird.
And we would love it if you left us a 5-star review. If you do, we promise to read it right here, right now on the show. Well, not right now, because you haven't written it yet, but we will read it on the show. And we've been promising, and we haven't gotten anybody to do a review. So please, write a review. We beg of you.
But more importantly, 5 stars, and we'll pay you like £5 with King Charles's head on it, whenever they make it.
Why did you... Now, is it £5? Now, is this gory that you're saying? Like, we'll give you £5 with King Charles's head on it. You said that so violently.
I didn't think of it that way.
Hey, an incentive is an incentive. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed us talking about our childhood staples just as much as we have. And if you did, make sure you hit follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so that you don't miss out on a future episode.
And if you like the show, share it with a friend, or a brother, or a sister.
Get it? Got it? Good. Well, we wish you guys the best, and we'll see you next time on Inside Quotes. And may all your daughters be born with 3 bottoms. Look, pull yourself together. It's only a bit of poo.